Well, hi, all my LGBT friends and others. I hope you're doing well. I feel like I'm getting better on the mend. Um, and, you could just call me Miss Hackalung, as my brother does. Anyway, I would like to get on to reading Deuteronomy chapter 14. Um, let's see, there's just a lot going on in the world right now. Um, Tony from God Rules has done several really good videos lately in regards to the work that Steve Quayle, Tom Horn, and their young friend, I can't think of his name, who have done, the Unholy See, Vatican and the Unholy See, and works in Peru and so forth. So I would encourage you to get those videos. They're like $10, or you can download them or buy them. There's different ways that you can obtain them, and take a look at what they've been able to find out, and what the Vatican is hiding and so forth. And then of course we know that the Vatican is in Israel. They're going to try to start up a new religion, one world religion, and they're trying to get it consummated in Israel. I don't think they're going to come right out and talk about it. And we also know that there's going to be a great deception, as our Bible tells us, and that we are to be aware and to have knowledge of these things that are going to be happening, and to gird ourselves and to have faith in the Lord and not to be afraid, because you have God inside of you. And so we need not to be afraid, even though it's fearful, because we don't know what to expect. But if you have God in your heart, then you'll have that peace that that will just come over you, And so anyway, let's get on to it. Chapter 14, God's children must not disfigure themselves in mourning, what may be eaten, what may not, of the beast, of fishes, fowls, tithes of divine service, the third year tithe of alms and charity. By the way, today is the last day of Rosh Hashanah, so again, Happy New Year. We are the children of the Lord your God. We shall not cut yourselves. Okay, ye shall not cut yourselves, nor make any baldness between your eyes for the dead. Okay, I'm not sure about that. Don't mutilate yourself, basically, okay? And for thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God, and the Lord has chosen thee to be a particular people unto himself, above all the nations that are upon the earth. Thou shalt not eat any abominable thing. There are beasts which you shall eat, the ox, the sheep, and the goat, the hart, the roebuck, the fallow deer, the wild goat, the pygarg, the wild ox, and the shamos. Wild ox, and every beast that parteth the hoof and cleave the cleft of into two claws, and cheweth the cud among the beasts that ye shall eat. Okay, so like a pig doesn't have a cleft hoof. All right, so that's why they didn't want you to eat pig back then. Swine is and the swine, because it divided the hoof, yet cheweth not the cud, is unclean unto you. You shall not eat of their flesh, nor touch their dead carcass. Sorry, okay, so the swine does have a divided hoof, but doesn't chew the cud. My mistake, sorry. Okay, so, and you should not touch their dead carcass. These you shall eat of all that are in the waters, all that have fins and scales you shall eat. And whosoever hath not fins and scales you may not eat, for it's unclean to you. Of all clean birds you shall eat, but these are they of which you shall not eat: the eagle, the ostrich, the osprey, the glede, the kite, the vulture after his kind, and every raven after his kind, and the owl, the nighthawk, the cuckoo, and the hawk and his kind, the little owl, the great owl, the swan, and the pelican, and the gyre eagle, and the cormorant, and the stork, and the heron and her kind, and the lapwing, and the bat. Every creeping thing that flieth is unclean to you, they shall not be eaten. But of all the clean fowls you may eat, you shall not eat of anything that dieth of itself. Thou shalt give it unto the stranger thou shalt give it unto the stranger that is in thy gates, that he may eat it, or thou mayest sell it unto an alien, for thou art holy people unto the Lord thy God. Thou shalt not seeth a kid in his mother's milk. Thou shalt truly tithe all the increase of thy seed, that the field bringeth forth year by year. And thou shalt eat before the Lord thy God in the place which he shall choose to place his name there, the tithe of thy corn, of thy wine, of thy oil, the firstling of the herds of the flock, that thou mayest learn to fear the Lord thy God always. And if the way be too long for thee, so that thou art not able to carry it, or if the place be too far from thee, which the Lord thy God shall choose to set his name there, then the Lord thy God had blessed thee. Then shall you turn it into money, and bind up the money in thy hand, and shall go into the place which the Lord thy God shall choose. And thou shalt bestow that money for whosoever thou so lusted after, for oxen, or for sheep, or for wine, or for strong drink, or for whatsoever thy soul desires, and thou shalt eat there before the Lord thy God, and thou shalt rejoice, thou and thine household. And the Levite that is within thy gates, thou shalt not forsake him, for he has no part nor inheritance with thee. At the end of the 3 years thou shalt bring forth all the tithe of thine increase the same year, and thou shalt lay it up within thy gates. And the Levite, because he hath no part nor inheritance with thee, and the stranger, and the fatherless, the widow, which are within thy gates, shall come, and shall eat and be satisfied. And the Lord thy God may bless thee in all the work of thine hand which thou doest. Chapter 15. 7th year, a year of release for the poor. It must be no hindrance to lending or giving. Hebrew servants, freedom. All firstling males of cattle to be sanctified unto the Lord. At the end of every 7th year thou shalt make a release. This is the manner of the release. Every creditor that lendeth aught unto his neighbor shall release it. He shall not exact it of his neighbor or his brother, because it is called the Lord's release. Of a foreigner thou mayest exact it again, but that which is thine with thy brother thine hand shall release. Save when there shall be no poor among you, for the Lord shall greatly bless thee in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee for an inheritance to possess it. Only if thou carefully hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all these commandments which I command thee this day. For the Lord thy God blessed thee, and he promised thee, and thou shalt lend unto many nations, but thou shalt not borrow. Thou shalt reign over many nations, but they shall not reign over thee. If there be among you a poor man of one of thy brethren within any of the gates in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee, thou shalt not harden thy heart, nor shut thine hand from thy poor brother. But thou shalt open thy hand wide unto him, and shalt surely lend him sufficient for his need in that which he wanteth. Beware that there be not a thought in thy wicked heart, saying, the 7th year, the year of release is at hand, and thine eye be evil against thy poor brother, and thou givest him not. And he cry unto the Lord against thee, and it be a sin unto thee. Thou shalt surely give him, and thy heart shall not be grieved when thou givest unto him, because that for this thing the Lord thy God shall bless thee in all thy works, and in all that thou puttest thine hand into. For the poor shall never cease out of the land. Therefore I command thee, saying that thou shalt open thy hand wide unto thy brother, to thy poor, and to the needy in thy land. And if thy brother and Hebrew man or Hebrew woman be sold unto thee, and serve thee 6 years, then the 7th year thou shalt let him go free from thee. And when thou sendest him out free from thee, thou shalt not let him go away empty. Thou shalt furnish him with literally out of thy flock, and out of the floor, and out of thy winepress, for thou wherein the Lord thy God has blessed thee, thou shalt give unto him. And thou shalt remember that thou wast a bondsman in the land of Egypt, and the Lord thy God redeemed thee. Therefore I command thee this thing today, that it shall be, if he say unto thee, I will not go away from thee, because he loveth thee and thine house, because he is well with thee, then thou shalt take an awl, and thrust it through his ear into the door, and he shall be the servant forever. And also unto thy maidservant thou shalt do likewise. It shall not seem hard unto thee, when thou sendest him away free from thee, for he hath been worth a double hired servant to thee, in serving thee 6 years. And the Lord thy God shall bless thee in all that thou doest. And the first male that comes of thy herd and of thy flock thou shalt sanctify unto the Lord thy God. Thou shalt do no work with the firstling of thy bullock, nor shear the firstling of thy sheep. Thou shalt eat it before the Lord thy God year by year, in the place where the Lord shall choose, thou and thy household. And if there be any blemish therein, if there be any lame or blind, or have any ill blemish, thou shalt not sacrifice it unto the Lord God. Thou shalt eat it within thy gates. The unclean and the clean person shall eat it alike, as the roebuck and as the hart. Only thou shalt not eat the blood thereof. Thou shalt pour it upon the ground as water. Okay, so I'm going to stop there. We're ending on the next chapter will be 16. And I wish that we would do this lending and borrowing thing here in America. That would save a lot of heartache for people, don't you think? And, you know, remember to help you. When it says your brother, it's talking about, you know, not just your family members, okay? So, you know, this would help a lot of ills, you know, the homeless and all kinds of things. If you have any questions, leave me a comment, do a thumbs up, share this, tell your friends, and I wish you all well. Do remember to keep praying for each other and lifting each other up to the Lord. Okay, love you guys. Bye-bye.